Hey everyone, Connie here, and today we are reviewing the Unari experiment, Homecoming, the first book of a series by my friend Brian Harrod. Um, I just finished this yesterday, and yeah, today I'm going to review it for you guys, tell you guys what I think, and suggest you check it out. You can buy this on Amazon. Link in the description below. So, Homecoming is an interesting book in the sci-fi genre. And it takes a lot of inspiration from various science fiction and even other sources. But what's the basic story? So I'm just going to read you from the excerpt on the back. Drowning in a sea of scandal, U.S. President Harry Drummond is thrown an unexpected lifeline. A proposal for a trade agreement from not one but two alien species, the Thunarians and the Unarians. All they want is the son of Unari's queen, left behind during a visit 55 years ago to save his life, sorry. Genetically disguised as a human, Byron Hollington was raised by surrogate parents, completely unaware of his true origins. He's content with his life and family, which are ripped away when Drummond trades him to the Unarians for a new energy source. Abducted by an alien operative, Byron, now addressed as Thundercloud, wakes aboard a spacecraft crewed by beings out of mythology. His Unarian DNA has already been activated. He's now massive and quadrupedal. Already bitter, he despairs when his captors realize his transformation has misfired, leaving him without the instincts and telekinetic powers that are second nature to Unarians. Helpless and still mentally human, Thundercloud is just beginning to accept his fate as he reaches his new home, where he immediately runs afoul of a brutal conspiracy. So it's just the most general synopsis of this. I'm not going to go into too many big plot spoilers, because this is definitely something I suggest you guys read on your own. Um, but let's just real quick talk about the concept. So as I said, we have as I read, we have a main character named Byron Hollington who's an ordinary guy, has an ordinary life, but all of that's suddenly uprooted when he's traded away by the government to an alien species that he technically hails from, despite living his entire life as a human. And basically, the book centers around him having to come to terms with that and figure things out, as well as just, generally learn about these different species of aliens and figure out what the hell he's going to do going forward. The character of Byron is kind of like an everyday person. He's very relatable in his struggles, his ideas, his personality and attitude. He's a very realistic character. You have other characters throughout who are also very well done. I admit most of the characters I did not like, but I don't think you're supposed to. So to be fair, um, like most of the aliens, for example, are extremely unlikable, but again, that's kind of the point, with the exception of like maybe one of them who is a little more likable, maybe two, but one for sure. Um, you meet a couple other human characters throughout this. It's mentioned the president, but you also meet some of the others working with the president. You meet Byron's wife, um, and so on and so forth. And they all come across as very human, which, again, very much the point. They're meant to come across as very just like human beings, to kind of contrast with the aliens. You also have some noted um, struggles in this. Like, there's characters that have notable emotional, mental, etc. struggles. And there's also a character in this that I won't go into too much detail, but has a mental disorder. And it's really cool seeing that kind of represented and seeing it gone into throughout the story, even if it's not as major a point as other things. There's also mention of mythology, as I read. Um, Mythology doesn't play a role per se in the story. It's more like the aliens. This isn't a massive spoiler, but the aliens like appear to resemble mythological creatures. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. They appear to resemble mythological creatures, like from human history, and that actually is made a deal out of at one point. But for the overall narrative of the book, it's not like a main focus. Um, there's some really interesting ideas about alien technology and what that would kind of entail. Like you've seen a lot of different fantasy sci-fi kind of stuff with aliens, and you see all the kinds of different way their technology is shown. I feel like at least I have not seen the technology done in the same way that this book portrays it. It definitely stands out and feels mostly original. There are definitely comparisons to like other sci-fi stuff, like Star Trek is a big one that's used as a comparison for a lot of this. But a lot of the stuff, at least personally for me, feels fresh and unique and interesting. Um, as do the characters themselves, the character designs, based on, of course, what we are told in the book they look like. There are some pictures like floating around, some art of the character designs, um, and it just kind of like goes with what it says. There's some pictures in the books in the book I might be able to find some examples of that. Um, Hold on. Oh, actually, there's the one I'm kind of thinking of is early on. Yeah, the book has some pictures here and there that like show like different characters to like kind of give you a better feel of what they look like. Um, they're black and white, so they won't be able to be seen that well, but like you could see some of the aliens in this picture here talking with some humans. And then continuing forward, like here's another picture as an example. But yeah, this book is definitely really interesting. Really, it builds really well. There is some heavy exposition early on, but as it progresses, it gets less and less heavy, and it starts to focus more on what's going on, and it gets more dire and more exciting and more investing. You care about what's going on, and you're interested to see what goes on next, as well as the unraveling of the various mysteries that the book proceeds to tell. Now, there are more books coming. Second book is already out. A third book is planned to be released within the next few months or so. And there is a proposed 5 books on the table right now. Don't know exactly how far it'll go beside that, but I'm planning on continuing to read this series because while it started off, again, very heavy in exposition and kind of just only minorly interesting, it definitely got more and more exciting and more just investing, as I've said before, as it goes on. But yeah, so I would definitely suggest you check this out. Once again, it is the Unari Experiment Book 1, Homecoming by Brian Harrod. You can find it on Amazon. Link is once again in the description below. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.